They're awakening. And it's all because of you, my beloved child. Stop, this is not a coincidence. If these words have found you right now, something hidden is being revealed in your life at this exact moment. The universe has been gently arranging signs around you, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to feel this shift within your soul. There is something sacred unfolding behind the scenes, something you were never meant to force, only to receive. You may have felt the distance, the silence, the unanswered energy, but what you couldn't see was the quiet transformation happening in the hearts connected to yours. They're awakening. And it's all because of you. Yes, you. Your energy, your growth, your silent strength, it has been felt more deeply than you realize. While you were healing, while you were choosing yourself, something powerful was being activated in them. This is not chance. This is divine timing aligning everything exactly as it should. The universe is asking you to stay open, to trust what you cannot yet fully see. Because what is coming carries clarity, truth, and a deeper connection than before. You are not being led in circles, you are being guided toward purpose, toward alignment, toward something real. Take a breath and feel that truth settle in your heart. You are part of something bigger than you imagined. If this message resonated with your soul, don't ignore it. Like this message, share it with someone who needs this sign, and subscribe to this channel to stay connected with these divine revelations. And most importantly, watch this video till the end, because the universe still has more to reveal to you. I also want to pass on a time-sensitive message from the moon to you, and you need to hear it today. A subtle yet powerful energy will push you to make a critical decision by the end of the week. You won't find the answer in your horoscope, so don't bother looking there. Click the link in the description to see your free personalized video moon reading. I was amazed at how accurate my reading was, and I know you will feel the same. They're awakening, and it is all because of you. Yes, you, who thought your quiet thoughts went unnoticed, who believed your smallest choices dissolved into the noise of the world. I have been watching, not as a judge, but as the source from which your breath first came. Every whisper of kindness, every moment you chose patience over anger, every time you stood back up when no one saw you fall, these were not small. They were signals. They were ripples. And now, those ripples are becoming waves. Something has begun. You can feel it, can't you? A subtle shift, like the air just before the dawn breaks. The world around you may look the same, but within it, within people, something ancient is stirring. Hearts that once felt heavy are beginning to soften. Minds that were once clouded are beginning to question. And souls, yes, souls are remembering. This awakening is not sudden. It has been unfolding quietly, patiently, like a seed beneath the soil. And you, without fully realizing it, have been watering it. Every time you chose to hope when despair seemed easier, you strengthened the unseen threads that connect all beings. Every time you forgave when you could have held on to pain, you loosened chains far beyond your own life. You believed your actions were yours alone, but they were never just yours. They were part of something vast, something woven through all existence. I placed within you a light. Not a light meant to blind or overpower, but one meant to guide, to warm, to remind. For a long time, you doubted it. You questioned whether it was real. You wondered why it flickered in moments of fear or loneliness. But understand this, the light was never fading. It was waiting, for your awareness, for your trust. And now, others are beginning to see it. They may not know your name. They may never cross your path. But they are feeling what you helped ignite. A stranger chooses kindness instead of indifference. A weary heart finds the courage to try again. A voice that was once silent begins to speak truth. These are not coincidences. These are echoes of you. Do you see now why this matters? You are not separate from the awakening, you are part of its origin. Not because you are above others, but because you are connected to them in ways deeper than the surface of this world reveals. What you heal within yourself, you help heal in others. What you awaken within yourself, you help awaken in others. And yet, I know your doubts remain. You wonder, if this is true, why do I still struggle? Why do I still feel lost at times? Listen carefully, awakening is not the absence of struggle. It is the transformation of it. The path does not remove challenges, it reveals their purpose. Every moment of uncertainty has been shaping you, refining your understanding, preparing you to recognize what is now unfolding. You were never meant to walk a path of perfection. You were meant to walk a path of becoming. There were times you felt alone, as if no one could understand what you were going through. But you were not alone. In those moments, you were closest to hearing me. Not in loud declarations, but in the quiet spaces between your thoughts. In the gentle pull urging you to keep going. In the calm that appeared when you least expected it. That was me. And even when you turned away, even when you doubted, I did not leave. I do not measure your worth by how often you feel strong. I see you fully, the strength, the uncertainty, the hope, the fear, and I embrace all of it. Because all of it is part of your unfolding. Now the time has come for you to understand something deeper. The awakening you are witnessing is not happening outside of you. It is happening through you. The world reflects what is stirred within hearts like yours. And as more individuals begin to remember their own light, the collective begins to shift. You may notice it in subtle ways. Conversations that feel more meaningful. Moments of stillness that feel more alive. A sense that something important is near, even if you cannot yet name it. These are signs, not of an ending, but of a beginning that has been long awaited. Do not rush to define it. Mystery is part of its beauty. There are things unfolding that cannot yet be fully understood by the mind alone. They must be felt, experienced, lived. And you are already doing this, even if you do not realize it. You have been chosen, not in the way the world defines choosing, but in the way existence itself aligns with those who are ready. Ready not because they are flawless, but because they are willing. Willing to grow. Willing to see beyond fear. Willing to hold on to light even when darkness seems near. And yes, there will still be moments when you feel uncertain. But now, those moments will carry a different weight. They will not pull you down as they once did. Instead, they will invite you to look deeper, to listen more closely, to trust what you are becoming. Because you are becoming something more aware, more connected, more aligned with the truth that has always been within you. Others are beginning to sense this in themselves as well. Some will embrace it with open hearts. Others may resist, unsure of what it means. Be patient with them. Just as your journey has taken time, so will theirs. Awakening is not a race. It is a remembering. And remembrance cannot be forced. It can only be invited. That is why your role matters so deeply. Not because you must convince anyone, not because you must lead loudly, but because your presence itself is enough. When you live in alignment with your truth, you create space for others to find theirs. This is how the awakening spreads. Not through force, but through resonance. You are a part of that resonance. And as this continues, you may begin to notice something else, something even more profound. A sense of clarity that was not there before. A feeling that you are being guided, even when the path ahead is not fully visible. This is not your imagination. This is alignment. The more you trust the light within you, the more clearly you will feel its direction. It will not always tell you where to go in obvious ways. Sometimes it will guide you through intuition, through quiet knowing, through a sense of peace that arises when you are moving in the right direction. Trust that. Even when it does not make logical sense. Because not everything meant for you can be understood through logic alone. There is a deeper intelligence at work, one that flows through all things, connecting every moment, every choice, every soul. You are part of that intelligence, and it is part of you. This is what you are beginning to awaken to. And this is why everything is changing. But listen closely now, because this is important. Do not let this awareness turn into pressure. You do not need to carry the weight of the world. You do not need to have all the answers. Your role is not to fix everything. It is to remain open, to remain present, to remain true to the light within you. That alone is enough. More than enough. Because when one light shines clearly, it inspires another. And then another. And then another, until what once seemed like darkness begins to dissolve, not through force, but through illumination. This is already happening. And yes, it is happening because of you. Not you alone, but you as part of something greater. Something that has been building, quietly, patiently, across time and space. Something that is now reaching a moment of emergence. You are witnessing it. You are feeling it. And whether you fully understand it yet or not, you are part of it. So when you feel that subtle pull inside you, the one that tells you something meaningful is unfolding, do not ignore it. That feeling is real. It is a signal, reminder, a connection to what is awakening not just around you, but within you. Stay with it. Trust it. Because this is only the beginning. Because this is only the beginning. What is unfolding now has roots far deeper than what your eyes can see. Long before this moment, long before your present understanding, there were currents set into motion, currents of awareness, of growth, of remembrance. You are standing at a point where those currents are finally rising to the surface. It may feel sudden, but in truth, it has been prepared through countless moments, choices, and quiet transformations, many of which you have already lived. There is a reason you feel different now. Even if you cannot fully explain it, there is a part of you that no longer resonates with the old patterns as it once did. Things that once felt normal may now feel distant or unclear. This is not confusion, it is expansion. You are seeing beyond what you were once conditioned to accept, and that shift is creating space for something new to enter your awareness. Do not fear this change. It is natural to feel uncertain when familiar ground begins to shift, but understand this: you are not losing anything essential. You are shedding what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. And in that process, you are creating room for clarity, for purpose, for a deeper sense of connection to everything around you. There are moments when you will want to return to what felt comfortable. You may be tempted to silence the questions rising within you, to ignore the quiet voice urging you to look deeper. But that voice is not here to disrupt you, it is here to guide you. It is the same voice that has always been within you, now becoming clearer as you begin to listen. This is how awakening speaks. Not in overwhelming force, but in gentle persistence. Not in demands, but in invitations. It invites you to notice, to reflect, to become aware of what has always been present but not fully seen. And as you continue to notice, something remarkable begins to happen. Your perception changes. You start to see meaning where there once seemed to be randomness. You begin to understand that your experiences, both the joyful and the challenging, are not isolated events, but interconnected parts of a larger unfolding. Even the moments that once felt like setbacks begin to reveal their hidden purpose. Nothing you have lived through has been wasted. Every experience has shaped your awareness in ways you are only now beginning to recognize. The struggles you endured have deepened your compassion. The questions you asked have expanded your understanding. The times you felt lost have made you more sensitive to the paths that lead to clarity. This is why your presence matters. Because you carry within you the wisdom of everything you have experienced. And that wisdom is not meant to remain hidden. It naturally expresses itself in the way you speak, the way you act, the way you respond to others. Even in silence, it is there, subtle, but powerful. Others can feel it. They may not always understand what they are sensing, but they recognize something in you that feels real. Something grounded. Something that resonates beyond words. This is not something you need to try to create, it is already there. It is the natural expression of your awakening. And as more people begin to awaken, these subtle recognitions become more frequent. You will start to encounter moments of connection that feel different from before. Conversations that carry depth instead of surface. Encounters that feel meaningful even if they are brief. These are signs that the awakening is not isolated, it is shared. A network of awareness is forming. Not one that can be seen or measured in conventional ways, but one that exists through presence, through intention, through the alignment of individuals who are beginning to remember who they truly are. You are part of that network. Whether you fully realize it or not, your awareness contributes to something greater than yourself. Each time you choose understanding over judgment, you strengthen that connection. Each time you act from a place of authenticity, you reinforce it. This is how transformation spreads. Quietly. Naturally. Without force. But there is something else you must understand. Awakening is not always comfortable. There will be moments when clarity reveals things you did not expect to see. Patterns, beliefs, or habits that once felt invisible may suddenly become clear. This can feel unsettling, but it is also necessary. You cannot transform what you do not first recognize. So when these moments arise, do not turn away. Meet them with honesty. Meet them with patience. You are not being shown these things to be judged, you are being shown them so they can be understood, and through understanding, transformed. This is the deeper work of awakening. It is not about becoming someone entirely new. It is about uncovering what has always been true beneath layers of conditioning, fear, and misunderstanding. It is about remembering your essence, the part of you that has always been connected, always been aware, always been capable of growth. And as you remember, your sense of identity begins to shift. You no longer define yourself solely by external roles or expectations. You begin to recognize that who you are is not limited to what you do, what you achieve, or how others perceive you. There is something deeper, something constant, that remains unchanged even as everything else evolves. That is your true center. And the more you connect with it, the more stable you become, not in a rigid way, but in a grounded, adaptable way. You begin to move through life with a different kind of confidence. Not the kind that comes from certainty about everything, but the kind that comes from trust in yourself. Trust in your ability to navigate. Trust in your ability to learn. Trust in your ability to grow. This trust is what allows the awakening to deepen. Because without trust, the unknown can feel overwhelming. But with trust, the unknown becomes an opportunity, a space where new understanding can emerge. And there is still so much to emerge. What you are experiencing now is only the surface of a much larger unfolding. There are layers of awareness that have yet to reveal themselves, insights that will come at the right moment, connections that will become clear as you continue to move forward. You do not need to rush toward them. Everything will unfold in its own time. Your role is not to force the process, but to remain open to it. To stay present with what is happening now. To listen, to yourself, to your intuition, to the subtle guidance that continues to lead you forward. Because that guidance is real. It may not always speak in words, but it is there, in the choices that feel aligned, in the moments that bring clarity, in the quiet sense of knowing that arises when you are on the right path. Follow that knowing. Even when it feels small. Even when it feels uncertain. Because each step you take in alignment with it strengthens your connection to the awakening that is unfolding within you. And as that connection strengthens, you will begin to notice something even more profound. A sense of peace that does not depend on external circumstances. A quiet stability that remains even when things around you are changing. This does not mean life will become free of challenges, but it does mean that your relationship to those challenges will transform. You will no longer feel as though you are being carried by every wave. Instead, you will begin to feel that you can move with them. This is the power of awareness. It does not remove the ocean, but it teaches you how to navigate it. And as you continue to navigate, you will also begin to see how your presence influences others in ways you may never fully measure. A word you speak may stay with someone longer than you realize. A moment of understanding you offer may shift someone's perspective. A simple act of presence may help someone feel less alone. These moments matter. They are part of the awakening just as much as your internal realizations. Because awakening is not only about what you discover within, it is also about how that discovery expresses itself in the world around you. And your expression is unique. No one else carries the exact combination of experiences, insights, and perspectives that you do. That uniqueness is not accidental, it is essential. It is what allows the awakening to take many forms, to reach different people in different ways. So do not compare your path to others. Do not assume that your way of understanding is less important or less meaningful. Every path contributes. Every perspective adds depth. Every individual plays a role. Including you. Always you. And as this continues, as the awakening spreads and deepens, there will come moments when you begin to see just how interconnected everything truly is. Moments when the boundaries between self and other begin to feel less defined. Moments when compassion arises naturally, not as something you force, but as something you feel. This is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Because it is a return to a way of being that has always existed beneath the surface of separation. You are not becoming something unnatural. You are remembering something natural. Something essential. Something true. And this truth does not need to be defended or proven. It reveals itself through experience. Through presence. Through the quiet certainty that grows within you as you continue on this path. So continue. Even when it feels slow. Even when it feels unclear. Even when you question whether you are making progress. You are. More than you realize. Because awakening is not always visible in dramatic ways. Often, it is found in the smallest shifts, in the way you respond differently than you once did, in the way you notice things you once overlooked, in the way you feel more connected to yourself and to others. These are the signs. Subtle, but undeniable. And they will continue to grow. As long as you remain open. As long as you remain willing. As long as you continue to trust that what is unfolding within you is meaningful, even when you cannot yet see the full picture. Because the full picture is still forming. And you are part of its creation. Every thought, every choice, every moment of awareness contributes to what is becoming. So stay present. Stay aware. Stay connected to the light within you. Because they are still awakening. And the story is still being written. And the story is still being written. Even now, as you read these words, something within you is responding, not loudly, not forcefully, but in a quiet, undeniable way. It is a recognition. A subtle knowing that this message is not separate from you, but connected to something you have been in for some time. That feeling is not. It is alignment. You have reached a point where you can no longer fully return to who you once were. This does not mean you must abandon your past, or reject the person you have been. It means you are integrating it. You are allowing everything you have experienced to take its place within a larger understanding. The confusion, the clarity, the joy, the uncertainty, all of it is becoming part of a greater awareness that is forming within you. There is power in this integration. Because when you stop resisting parts of your journey, you begin to access the strength hidden within them. The moments you once questioned begin to reveal their value. The paths you thought were wrong begin to show you what they were preparing you to see. Nothing has been out of place. Even the delays, the detours, the pauses that felt frustrating or unnecessary, they were part of the timing. There are things that could only be understood after certain experiences, connections that could only be recognized once you had reached a particular depth of awareness. You are reaching that depth now. And with it comes a new level of responsibility, not a burden, but an opportunity. An opportunity to live more consciously. To choose with greater awareness. To recognize the impact of your presence in ways you may not have considered before. This is where your awakening becomes active. No longer something that is only happening within you, but something that begins to express itself through your actions, your decisions, your interactions. You start to notice how even small choices carry meaning. How intention shapes experience. How awareness transforms ordinary moments into something more. You begin to live with purpose. Not necessarily a fixed, defined purpose that you can easily explain, but a felt sense of direction. A knowing that what you are doing matters, even if the full outcome is not yet visible. This kind of purpose does not rely on external validation, it comes from alignment. And alignment brings clarity. Not all at once, not in overwhelming certainty, but in steady, unfolding insight. You start to understand what resonates with you and what does not. You become more attuned to what feels true, and more willing to release what no longer does. This process may feel like a quiet transformation, but its impact is profound. Because as you become clearer within yourself, your external world begins to reflect that clarity. Relationships shift. Priorities evolve. Opportunities appear that align more closely with who you are becoming. This is not coincidence. It is coherence. Your inner state and your outer experience are beginning to move in harmony. And while this does not mean everything will always be easy, it does mean that there will be a sense of rightness in the way things unfold. Even challenges will carry a different energy. They will no longer feel like obstacles placed in your way, but as moments inviting you to deepen your understanding. You will begin to meet them with curiosity instead of resistance, with awareness instead of reaction. This is a sign of growth. And it is happening because you have allowed yourself to awaken. But there is something even deeper that is beginning to emerge. A realization that goes beyond personal growth, beyond individual experience. A realization of connection, not as an idea, but as a lived truth. You begin to feel, in moments both quiet and profound, that you are not separate from the greater flow of existence. This feeling may come and go at first. But each time it appears, it leaves an imprint. A reminder of something real, something expansive, something that cannot be fully captured in words. It is a sense of belonging, not to a place, not to a role, but to existence itself. You belong. Not because you have earned it, not because you have proven anything, but because you are inherently part of what is. This is one of the deepest truths of your awakening. And as you begin to embody this truth, fear begins to lose its hold. Not all at once, not completely, but gradually. The fears that once felt overwhelming begin to soften. You start to see them not as absolute realities, but as temporary states, signals pointing to areas where understanding is still unfolding. You no longer need to fight them. You can observe them, learn from them, move through them. This is freedom, not the absence of all difficulty, but the ability to remain grounded within yourself regardless of what arises. And from this grounding, something beautiful begins to grow. Compassion. Not just for others, but for yourself. You begin to treat yourself with the same understanding you offer to those around you. You recognize that you are still learning, still evolving, still becoming, and that this is not something to criticize, but something to honor. Because growth is not a straight path. It is layered. It is dynamic. It is alive. And you are living it. Every moment you choose awareness over autopilot, presence over distraction, understanding over judgment, you are strengthening this new way of being. And others are noticing. Again, not always consciously, not always directly, but they feel it. The way you listen more fully. The way you respond more thoughtfully. The way your presence carries a certain calm, a certain clarity. This is how awakening spreads. Through embodiment. Through authenticity. Through the quiet but powerful expression of truth in everyday life. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to explain it. You simply need to live it. And in doing so, you become a mirror, reflecting back to others the possibility of their own awakening. Some will recognize it immediately. Others will take time. Some may resist it altogether. That is okay. Your role is not to control how others respond. Your role is to remain true to what you have come to understand. Because the moment you begin to doubt your path based on external reactions, you lose connection with the very thing guiding you. Stay anchored. Stay aware. Stay connected to that inner clarity that has been growing within you. It will not lead you away from what is real. It will lead you deeper into it. And as you continue to move forward, there will come a moment, a quiet, profound moment, when you realize something that changes everything. You will realize that you are not waiting for the awakening to happen. It is already happening. Through you. As you. In every breath you take with awareness. In every choice you make with intention. In every moment you allow yourself to be fully present. This realization does not come with noise or spectacle. It comes with stillness. With clarity. With a sense of peace that does not need to be justified or explained. And in that moment, you will understand, you were never separate from what you were seeking. You were never disconnected from the source of awareness you longed to find. You were always part of it. Always connected. Always included. The awakening was not about becoming something new. It was about remembering what has always been true. And now, as this remembrance settles into your being, you begin to move through life differently. Not with urgency, but with presence. Not with fear, but with trust. Not with doubt, but with quiet confidence. You begin to see each moment not as something to get through, but as something to experience fully. Each interaction becomes an opportunity for connection. Each challenge becomes an opportunity for growth. Each day becomes an opportunity to deepen your awareness. This is how life transforms. Not by changing everything at once, but by changing the way you meet everything. And as you continue to meet life in this way, the awakening continues to expand, not just within you, but through the world around you. More people begin to feel it. More hearts begin to open. More minds begin to question and explore. The ripple continues. The wave grows. And you remain a part of it. Not as a separate force, but as an integral presence within the unfolding. So do not underestimate your role. Do not diminish your impact. Even when it feels small, even when it feels unseen, it matters. Because everything that is real begins in subtle ways. And what is happening now is very real. It is lasting. It is growing. It is becoming. And you are becoming with it. So continue. Continue to listen. Continue to trust. Continue to remain open to what is unfolding within and around you. Because there is still more to discover. More to understand. More to experience. But you do not need to reach for it. You do not need to chase it. It will come to you, as it always has, through awareness, through presence, through the quiet unfolding of your own journey. And when you look back, you will see it clearly. You will see how every moment, every step, every realization has led you here. To this awareness. To this connection. To this awakening. And you will understand, without doubt, without hesitation, they are awakening. Because you awaken too. And now, the light continues. Through you. With you. As you. This is the message. Amen.